evening, everyone. You're a little bit crooked there, so I'm just going to twist. Okie dokie. Alright, so thank you for joining me this evening. We'll wait a few more people to get on, but to date we're going to be using the MDF Pop Outs and we're going to be sticking them to a canvas. So that's quite cool. So we'll just wait. Oh! Just knock something off, and then another thing, and it's crash bang wallop all around. So isn't that just marvellous? Mighty hope. I dropped my new book. Here we go. So as you pop on, please give me a thumbs up, give me a wave, or even better, a comment. Like I always say on Facebook, and even once this is uploaded to YouTube, actually, likes are good, but comments are better. Internet likes them more, so therefore it helps more people find the video, and it's just all a little bit better, really. Listen to that, it makes it sound like I actually know what I'm doing. I totally don't. Right, so let me have a look. So, hi Sue. I am feeling a bit better, thank you, lovely. I honestly, I don't know what was up with me last week. I just felt a bit, you know when you're just like, I feel off. That's not right, I just don't feel right. And I nearly never cancel these, because usually I can perk up just, you know, while we chat and we're talking craft, you know, one of my favourite things. So I can normally perk up for it, but, oh, felt well ropey. So, you know, what can you do? Hi, Shireen. Oh, look. Oh, hi, guys. Right, so I'll put me thingy there. I'll try and keep up with the comments. I'm making no promises. I've seen Sammy's here, so hopefully she'll do a better job than me. Right. So, what I wanted to do is I know I've been doing some more journaling recently, and what have you. But we don't do necessarily a lot of the MDF, mixed media and everything on our Try It Out Tuesdays. So what I thought I'd do is this is going to turn into a bit of a two-parter, okay? Because we're going to be using gel medium to stick some things down to a canvas. Hopefully it'll dry well enough for us to get a first coat of gesso on. But if not, I'll gesso it before next week and we'll continue from there. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a seaside themed canvas, but of course you could do this on an art board or a big tag to make a hanging decoration for your bathroom, or if you wanted it to go outside, that would be fine too, but obviously you'd need to really make sure you sealed it ever so well. Hello Emma Blake. Of course, she's good. She did a live in another group at 7 o'clock and here she is, look at her. Right, okay, so that's my thought. We don't really get a chance to mess with these. You can tell it's been warm weather when you've had your window open and all you can smell is cow poop. That's all I can smell most mornings and evenings, my lovely, because, you know, I have to go to the farm. So, yeah. So, these are the most recent pop-outs, so I thought we'd start and go with these. So, these are in a So, these are in a 2-pack. Okay. So, I'll go through those with you now, because I've got some that are open. So this is my canvas, so this is what we're going to stick on in a minute. Now I'm going to be using the Dina Ultra Thick Gel Medium, and I've had some trouble getting it onto the website. I can't seem to find a good enough picture, and I haven't had a chance to do photography for it, so that's not on at the minute. However, we do have some fantastic mediums on the website. We do have the Distress Collage Medium, and we do have the Pretty Gets Gritty Gel Medium as well. Okay, but I am probably going to be using the Dina Wakley Media Ultra Thick because I've already opened it. So that will be going on as soon as I can get photography for it. But like I say, we've got some really good gel mediums on as well. We've got the Pretty Gets Gritty and the Distress. Okay, so right, and in fairness, this is really good for things like this. I probably will use this as well because it's got the applicator. So if you're sticking small things, it's really, really handy. But there you are. Right, let me move my canvas out of the way. A second. So, in the alphabet set, so I'm just trying to make sure it's all in shot, because what I can see on like where I'm filming doesn't necessarily have it all in, but where I'm watching does. So, you know. So, here we go. So, this is your alpha letters, numbers, etc. set. Okay. of pop outs, and these are actually one of Sam's requests. You know, she tends to get everything she wants. What can I say? She's the eldest. But these are one of Sam's requests. So on here you have a full alphabet. Don't try and sing the alphabet song singing them, because we've mixed up the letters slightly to make sure it all fits on. Okay, so see, there you go. Emma's saying the gritty gel sticks everything to everything, so that's wicked. And then on here you've got all of your numbers, but you also have your percent, some brackets, question mark, an at, your dollar sign, your hashtag, an extra number too because they're fab, you know, your pound sign, your and. So you've got all of that as well to add in. Now these are really, really awesome. Okay, because you've got all those bits here, but what I love about this one is because they're all jumbled up, I think what Mum's done with these is really cool, because it makes the wastage really useful and something really pretty to use as well once you've popped everything out. So that's really awesome, isn't it? Ace. So you've got your full alphabet here, you've got a full set of numbers, including your zeros, okay, and you've got lots of extra bits, and that's why it's alpha, number, etc. Okay, so that's those two. And then we have the seaside and waves and clouds and things. Now again, what's really, really cool about these is you've got so much packed on. So when you do, and the clouds are all at the top and your waves are all at the bottom. So if you want to use the wastage later, you're going to have the negative of the clouds and then the waves at the bottom. So they're really, really cool. All right. And then on this one, you've got seagulls and fishes and all that. You can see what's on them. Absolutely. I just like to go through and show you. The netting is really cool. As well, we do absolutely love that. Okay, so first thing, when you are, and I'm going to show you on these because there's a couple of fiddly little bits. If you look at your pop outs, so your pop outs are all laser cut, okay, from 2mm MDF. Now they are secured. The reason they don't fall out is they're secured. I'm just going to get my lid off my knife. They're secured by two little tabs. See, so that one's there and there. Little fish is there. And then your seagull there is there. So, and starfish there and there. So you can, oh sorry, starfish there and there. So you can see them. Now, they're even easier to see on the back. So, for example, we just said, so on the anchor there, right? You can see that's there. Now, on some of the bigger things, I will just sometimes give them a twist. And they'll pop out and you're perfectly fine. Might get a little nozzly bit, but that doesn't really bother me. You can sand it off if you want to. Okay. And then, in fairness, I do agree the netting is absolutely beautiful. Right? But, if you've got something slightly more delicate, for example, like the coral, okay? That I wouldn't want to be pushing out because you might risk bending some of the more delicate pieces and whatever. So it's the same with the butterflies and everything that you've got on yours, on some of the other sheets as well. You don't want to be pushing and bending the butterflies too much. So what I tend to do is I'll just nick through the tab on this side. There's the other one there. And then I'll just flip it over. Then I'll nip through the tab there. Nip through the tab there with my knife. And then you can see, I mean, you saw it literally popped out, okay? And that just means... Didn't nip through that one enough though, did I? There we go. And that means you can get your piece out without any damage at all. Okay? Which is fab. That's what we're after. So, and it means you don't damage your negative piece, okay, to then use later. Alright. So, here we go. Right, so what I'm going to do is we're going to work together. And we're going to do a beach theme canvas. Like I say, you could do this on like an artboard. You could do it on a big MDF tag. You could basically pop out all your letters and then work it on top of there, so you've got a base. So there's, you know, there is lots you can do. But first of all, I'm going to start with, because the thing is, I want to use the lighthouse on here. This is actually, that's something I did forget to tell you, because obviously the lighthouse has got some fantastic die cuts we can use with it. So if I just grab my lighthouse. If you did miss the show last week, I'm still waiting for the copy for it to go on the YouTube channel. But this is one of the cards we created with the new lighthouse stamps and dies. Okay, so again, we'll be using these. Let me just lift that out of the way slightly. So, I mean, that, I tell you what, that has become like one of my favourite makes so far this year. I just absolutely love it. I was so happy with how it turned out, because I can't lie, a lot of the time when you're doing your demos live on telly, they don't always go to plan. In fairness, sometimes they rarely go to plan. But this I'm insanely proud of. So what we're going to do is we're going to do sort of like an MDF base, okay, and then we're going to start adding on some of the sort of die cut elements. But like I said, we'll probably do that next week. Okay, so this week we'll concentrate on the pop outs, getting those stuck down, maybe doing some gesso over the top. But if not, we'll start with our gessoed thing next week. We'll get that all painted up, and then we'll do this too. I might even do a bit of a catch up midweek as well. Okay, so we're going to go for this sort of thing on top of an MDF, make it and on top of a canvas, so it really is a mixed media type item. Okay, and it means we can add in more clouds. But my point was, sorry, got distracted while I was getting my stamps. My point was, you'll see that the waves on the pop out MDF have been done. They're not necessarily to match perfectly, but they are just to give the same impression. So if you want to use these alongside these, it all sort of works within a theme. Okay, which is awesome. Hi to everybody joining in. Right, so first of all, what I want first is I want a word, okay, and I'm gonna go with beach. Okay, when Anne was doing her thing, and I did this, honestly, if you watched the show last week, you will. Right, so I'm just going to cut the tabs on these just to make sure they pop out perfectly easily. And we're going to pop out all the bits, lay them out, and then decide how we want them to be, and then we will stick it down. Okay, so when Anne did her fantastic mini book, I will say the DT have also now uploaded all of their samples onto the Be Crafty blog. Okay, so if you wanted to have a look at some more samples using the lighthouse and the windmill, and you're thinking, oh, I like those, what sort of projects could I use them for? Honestly, go and have a look, because the DT have made some awesome things. Absolutely amazing. So, here we go. But we know that because the Be Crafty design team is what, ladies and gents? The best DT in the world. So, I'm just going to keep on. We're going to go for beach, because then this is going to go lovely in my bathroom, because that is lovely. Okay, so I'll put my letters to the side. But obviously, when I will say this, when Sam was asking for her letters and all these sort of things, see, I would put it in the middle, but I don't want to, because that will make it a bit regular. Okay, I might even like put them like really close together. So this is the cool thing with this. We can just have a play with it, lay it out. Not ocean. Yes, sorry, that's what I was going to say. So I looked, obviously, I'd seen Anne's beautiful mini book several times. I'd seen it online when she first sent us pictures. I'd seen it many, many times in my hand. We had set up the set. And then Alex was talking on the show and she said, what does the word say? And I went, beach. And then I went, no, it doesn't. It says ocean. Honestly. It was just like, oh dear. Sometimes you just worry about yourself, don't you? It's like, I was like, no way. And I knew it was ocean, but for whatever reason, my head went beach. It must be because that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, you know, what can you do? Now, I think what we need now is we need some waves. Now, again, these, I don't want to risk losing a wave, you know, because the thing about the laser cutting is it creates absolutely beautiful detail. So I want to make sure that I don't, with my rough blooming sausage fingers, ruin any of that by being, you know, at the end of the day, the tabs are so easy to nip. You just nip them off. It's not like it's like massive pressure or anything. Go along there. And we nip them out. Okay. And we're going to put all of these. I think I'm going to really sort of, for want of a better description, wave it up. Okay. We're going to do lots and lots of waves, because I think they're going to look absolutely beautiful. And I love the 3 different sorts Mum's put on there. They're sort of uber funky, aren't they? Actually, we're going to put them, I think it's 3 different distances. And then I'm going to get the other 2 that are sort of designed to go with the stamp, sort of. So I just couldn't find the other tab for this one. It's up there. Then we can start building these up over this side. And the thing is, you're not bound to the edge of the canvas if you don't want to be. I love the smell of MDF. It's absolutely wonderful. Oh, thanks, Kaz, for putting that on. So, yeah, I love the smell of MDF. I am an MDF sniffer. I'm okay with it, to be honest. It's, you know. And then we're going to go for... See, the seagulls are a little bit more solid. So those I am just going to pop, I think. We'll put them in a few more places. Oh. I'm wondering about this net because it is rather fabulous. If I was to... put some here, maybe. Because then I could have the lighthouse coming across here. Couldn't I? Do you know what? We're going to go to town with the seagulls. We really are. I think he's going to come a little bit off. Yeah, I'm going to try and leave the centre reasonably free, because I think that's where we're going to put the lighthouse. Okay. So now, if you look at this cloud, all these little raindrops, okay, are individual. So the cool thing about that is, if you are, I'm an MDF sniffer, it's fine. If you know, want to use all these clouds and then save them separately for a different project, you can. But it also means you've got this beautiful sort of stencil you can use if you want to when this is done. So that's quite awesome. I think I'm going to put this cloud here. I'll do this one maybe underneath that seagull, so we can pick that up later. No, I'm gonna layer that up a little bit differently. So you can see once this, I'll put a little bit what I'm going to do is I've got quite a few little bits of MDF. So for example, this little bit, right, that little bit there is a little nodey bit that's popped out. It's like a spare bit from where I've put something out. So they're really useful for putting underneath things that are sitting on top of another piece, because that keeps them raised both ends. Yeah? So that was a little piece. So for example, when I popped the wave out, it was a little piece from there. So keep those bits, and I know we, you know, hoard quite a lot anyway, but you keep those bits, because that means, because I want that cloud going over that piece of fishnet, when I stick it down it won't do that, which sort of creates a weak spot. Okay, what you can do is you can then sit that on there, and you know, we'll gel medium it down, and then it's sort of balanced. You can create a balance with it, so then it's not a weak spot anymore. Okay, excellent. Right, so I think we need to start sticking some things down. That's what I think. That being said, I am tempted. I know I've been playing with those waves that side, but I am tempted instead to put the boat here, and then some of the waves over here. I actually really like that with the boat there. I think we're going to do that. I think we're going to do that. Yes, I think that's lovely. Now, like I say, I'm planning to add some stamped elements to this. But, you know, I think, you know, if you just like playing MDF and whatever, you know, there's quite a lot you can play with there. And you can obviously add in some more things too, which is eight. I kind of want to use the lightning bolts. I wish I'd almost picked a bigger canvas. But you know, but you can get carried away, can't you? Do I photo first? Nah. I probably should. But in fairness, I am using all my devices right now, so how am I going to... I can't do that anyway. Right, so for the letters... You can use all of these, because bear in mind, the thing about these is they dry with a matte finish, and this goes for the Pretty Gel as well, okay? So the Pretty Gets Gritty Gel also dries totally matte, so you don't need to worry about it squidging out. I do get carried away. You don't need to worry about it squidging out from behind things. For example, it's going to behind the net, it's just going to. But you don't have to worry about that. It will give you a bit of extra texture. So the ultra thick, that will, you know, it's wicked. But again, you can use your heavy body acrylic paints to add more, so that's cool later on. But yeah, so these are matte mediums, which means when you're sticking things down, you don't have to worry. Whereas if you use like a hot glue, it is going to resist. And to be honest, I find things do ping off after a while. So I've got to be honest, gel mediums were one of those things that confused me initially when they first came out, but that's because I didn't really know what they were for, and now I do. So that's good. Yeah? Awesome. So here we go. Sorry, yes, the PGG is glossy, sorry, yeah. But I have found it doesn't resist. The reason I said that, you know, is because I found it doesn't resist. You know, like some mediums resist. I found the PGG one doesn't. But I've got to be honest, I took it to my PGG gel to Hochi last week. Now I can't find it. And that's basically why I don't have it. But like I say, I've got two more open anyway. So yeah, so this is the collage medium, and like I say, the wicked thing about this is the applicator, so you don't have to use a palette knife for everything. I do use a palette knife as well, and you'll see me do that in just a minute. But I think sometimes, you know, it just, well, it takes some of the thinking out. Beach is one of those words, you know, if you stare at it long enough, you can convince yourself you spelt it wrong. And that's true. So yeah, I used to use hot glue for canvases, etc. and mixed media projects, but I just, yeah, basically I find it just pings off. It goes sort of, yeah, so that's what, sorry Jane, yeah, that's exactly what I meant. So yeah, because I've been able to use mediums over the top, I never really count the PGG one as glossy, because I think it has a light gloss, but it doesn't have that heavy gloss finish. It's not like using glossy accents or whatever, and you know, which is high gloss. The thing with your collage mediums and your gel mediums, guys, is yes, you can use them for sticking chunky stuff, because they tend to stick really chunky stuff down. Okay, but you can also mix them with paints, colours, glazes, you know, and it can give you a sort of a different texture. But for example, the Dina one, you know, you can use, it's really, they say, you know, you can fix fabrics and all this sort of stuff. It's the same as the distress, and I think that's the thing, you can mix it across different mediums, so you can use it to attach metal to plastic, or chipboard to glass, or, do you know what I mean? And that's the thing. So it's you can use that, but you can also use it as a sealant. And because this is matte, you get a completely matte sealed finish, so it doesn't look like you've used a sealant on it. It looks, so if you've got a beautiful matte finish that you like, that's what it looks like. All right. This one's matte. The ultra thick gel medium is matte. And there is, yeah, even said so right on it, look, matte finish, marvellous. Alright, no problem at all. Right, so I'll get some of my Dina Wakley Ultra Thick. I mean, right, so this is the Ultra Thick, now watch. So if I just push that to the side, it just stays there. You can draw in it. Oh, you can just scoop it until it's nice and tall, because it's really, really thick. Okay, which is ace if you want to add some texture. It sticks dado rails onto the wall as well. I can quite honestly say I haven't tried that. We'll just have to take Joan's word for it. Right, so for example, with your palette knife, you can just sort of dab some of your ultra thick. Now, because this is ultra thick though, if you don't have any bits, right, and you want that to stand proud of the canvas, you stick it like that, and it will, because that will dry. Right, so you see, we've got dimension on there, yeah? So you put it on the canvas like that, and that's how it will dry. Now, in fairness, I'm not going to leave it like that. The reason being is I'm kind of hoping we might be able to get this dry enough to get some gesso on. So I'm actually just going to stick it down. It also gives you time. Okay, so if you want to put stuff down and slide it about and move it a little bit, whereas obviously with hot glue you can't do that, so there's also that to consider. And that's the cool thing. Just that little bit of time. Oh, buzz buzz. That's probably my watch saying, get up off your jacksie. You've been sat in this room for too long. I was trying to tidy. Trying being the operative word. Okay. And then a little bit on this seagull here. But yeah, like I say, if you don't want to do the whole spatula thing, okay, if you don't want to do that, then the collage medium with the applicator is pretty cool. Okay. Is distress collage glue meant for collaging rice paper originally? I think it was originally for, Tim Holtz uses a lot of ephemera. So it was for sticking the ephemera down, because as well as the collage medium, matte medium, there's also a crazing medium and a vintage medium, okay, which you can use for going over the top. Now the crazing medium creates these beautiful little cracks, you know, in like vintage pottery, where you have these small cracks and they're beneath the surface glaze. Okay, so the crazing medium helps you do that. And then you've also got the vintage medium that adds sort of like a sepia tone if you want to go over the top of papers as well. So they were for paper and ephemera originally, but they're brilliant and they stick like stink. Nearly said it. Right. And that's what we like. And as well, I know I say this every week, didn't last week because you didn't see me last week. Well, you did on Telebox, but not here. Is I love things, like I love things that do more than one thing. Okay? So one of the reasons I think stamps are like the awesomest thing in the world, right, is because you can do so much with them. Yeah, I've said this before, it's the same. You know, you can do heat embossing, you can stamp, you can colour, you can decoupage your stamps, you can layer them up, you can not layer them up, you can do them monochrome, you can do them sepia tones, you can make them look different, you can paper piece, you can create backgrounds, you can create tissue paper, you can stamp on all sorts of surfaces, and if you can't stamp on all sorts of surfaces, stamp it on tissue paper and stick it down. Okay, so stamps are awesome, you get it, right? The other thing I like, Inkables. Oh, I should have done some Inkable. I was so preoccupied with the pop outs. Anyway, it's fine. We might add some on with our heavy body next week. Yeah, Inkable templates. Okay. You can do so much with Inkable templates. You can emboss with them, you can spritz through them, you can ink through them, you can... Our Inkables you can emboss in an embossing machine. You can use embossing ink through them and heat emboss through them. You can use them on jelly plates. You know, lots and lots and lots of things you can do. And obviously your MDF pop outs, there's lots you can do with those too. And I think gel medium just comes under that bracket. You can just do so much with it. I love it, basically. I found a loose bit in a corner that hadn't been glued. Oh, that's with the dado rail. So, yeah. So thank you very much. Honestly, so many of you sent messages last week seeing if I was okay. I appreciate it. I really do. Like I say, I wasn't... I have to really not be right to not do my Try It Out Tuesdays or Thursdays it was last week. And I really wasn't. You know, when you don't necessarily feel... Oh, fantabulous. Where you don't feel ill as such, but you know for a fact you're not right. And that's why I was very careful last week when I used the phrase off colour. I feel really off colour. That's one of those words I still say in a semi-Scottish accent, isn't it? Colour. There you go. I have no idea why. So, I'm going to put my little wave, I think, think across here. Ready for... No, I'm not. And then the big wave going down here. We could actually stamp and colour some of the things I want to stick on actually. How are we doing for time? Yeah, so we could start that, couldn't we? Do, 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 do. And then that's giving this loads of time to dry. Because next week I'm going to use paint and explosion powders and all sorts. So, yeah. So you can see that now, that's not moving. It's already took hold of my letters. Not quite my cloud. Has that seagull though. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to put this to the side. Okay. And then for this to dry. And then when we come back next week, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to... I will have gessoed it in the meantime, which is just putting on a layer of gesso. Again, we've got different gessos in the shop. We've got the lovely Pretty Gets Gritty gesso. We've got some Dina Wakley gesso. We've got some others as well that are currently completely escaping my mind. You could also, if you wanted to, and you have it, and you say you wanted it to be a certain colour as well, and you didn't want to gesso first, that's me because I'm lazy. If you, for example, if you wanted this to be all blue, I wouldn't necessarily gesso it first because, again, I'm lazy and I don't want to do two lots. Dilutions paint, again, is really, really good and doesn't resist. Distress paint does. I want to be very clear, Distress paint would resist sprays and things afterwards. Dilutions paint doesn't. So if you wanted to go straight in for a colour, I would recommend Dilutions paint, not other. Okay? Sorry, my watch keeps going zzz. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this to the side and then we're going to get stamping with some stamps because that's the best thing to stamp with, stamps. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here to dry. And we're going to get the Lighthouse XL stamps. And look, you can tell they went on TV because I got them really, really clean. I got them really, really clean and I stamped up that many. I've been playing with them all week. And I still haven't used up all the ones I've got. Look, because this is I've got loads cut out. I'm ready. But what I also have in here is some small pieces of... Oh, just quickly, a minute. Just want to show you something. I don't think I did show on air. Okay. I was doing some prep, obviously, before I go on telly, because that's what I do. Because you should do prep before you go on telly. Nothing worse than people turning up with, you know, absolutely no idea with what they're doing. I do try to have a vague idea. And I was showing some of the girls on the Crafting Together All Brands admin. And I'd done just red lighthouses. And they're going, Bev. Well, it was actually Charmaine. She was like, Bev, you've got to try some other colours. So I've done this one in the XL, in the yellow. And then I decided to have a bit of a play. So there's a red one as well. And then I decided to have a bit of play. I'm missing some as well because I did a pink and a purple one. But I have to say, I'm really liking the green, which is quite cool. And then I've got a blue one here. A red and blue one here. Look, I did have a purple one. What did I do with that? No idea. Oh, here's my... Oh, it's got all the dies on. Here's my yellow and blue one as well. So I do absolutely love playing with them. You have to prep. Yeah, love. You prep. I've seen you prep. Don't start. In fairness, even when I do prep, a lot of the time, look, you can see how much stuff I do get ready, and then I don't follow a plan anyway. But my thought process is, if I prep and then I don't follow the plan or whatever, at least I've got lots of stuff to play with afterwards. So yeah, so look, I've got lots of little bits in there, which is great. And if in doubt, I have to say, if in doubt with these, very similar to the Doodle art houses, if I'm not sure what to prep, then I will make clouds, because they're so awesome. You can't have enough clouds, and I find I use them with so many other things. Do you know what I mean? You can still use these awesome Doodle art clouds with your, say for example, your birds and butterflies. It's just creating sort of like a different layer of texture and things like that, which is awesome. Right, so what we're going to do, this is on, so I'm on the Ecoline printer paper right now because I'm going to colour with my Ecolines, and we will stamp our, will this fit actually on this one? It will. I've been using my big one. I didn't need to. I could just use this one. So when I'm stamping a tall stamp like this, pretty much I'll always use this block this way if I can. The reason being, it's comfier, basically. And that's it. It's comfier. And there's no point making yourself uncomfortable. Okay. So, we're going to ink up. I'm using VersaFine. You could use VersaFine Claire. Whichever is your preferred one, really. I went through a real memento phase. But I've got to be honest, I just find I get... VersaFine, I think, it just makes... Again, it makes stamping easier. It's like... guaranteed clear image, which is ace. So for this one I'm going to need, because I want to layer up lots and lots of clouds on that canvas, alright, so each cloud I'm going to do 3 times. I might even do some out of the smaller set, but I won't make you watch. I'll do them in between. Okay, so 3 of that cloud, and then we'll get the smaller one. And like I say, with the dies we've done to match the lighthouse set and the windmill set, there is a die for every... Oh, hello. That was nearly a catastrophe, wasn't it? There's a die for every single stamp, from the biggest stamp in the set to the smallest. Alright, and then we need some of these waves, don't we? I may run out of space. I'm going to have to whiz around this windmill, I think. So we'll do... I think we only need one of these. I might be... Because at the end of the day, I did say I should have picked a bigger canvas, didn't I? So there's no point in me doing too much, because I'm going to end up not having enough room to see all the beautiful MDF Pop Outs we've put out. And then I think we need another boat to go with the one we've put on. And I think that... Oh, I've done a smudgy smudge. That'll be alright. And I think that will do. Yeah? Right. So, I think I'm going to go traditional colours with this one. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. Right. First of all, let me have a look. You know what? I'm going to grab my Ecoline Brights, because there's something for everyone in there, and the illustrators. Okay, because the lovely thing about the Brights and the illustrators is you pretty much have every colour of the rainbow. Whatever, if you're into pink, the Brights are a bit better because there's some bright pinks in there. But it is a real 6 of 1. Saying that, yeah, pastels have obviously got all the colours in there in a pastel. I'm useless, by the way. This is why when people say, oh, what Ecoline set would you recommend to start with? I don't know. Goodness gracious. So, sorry to be boring, but I think I'm going to go with a red lighthouse. I just think I'm going to need that flash of colour because I'm planning the rest sort of around blues and greens and silvers because my bathroom's blue. So I'm going to need that flash of red, just something to make it pop. Now, because I've put an inky smudge mark on this one, this section is going to be red. Okay, so I'm going to go across the top. And I'm going to go down the side. And then down the side. Actually, I'm going to go across the bottom as well. Bring that across the bottom. Okay. And then using... You need them all. Exactly. Maybe that's the problem, Samantha. My Samantha would agree with you as well, to be fair. She believes you need them all too. So all you need to do is get your water brush, activate the water, the ink, sorry, and then drag it across. There you are, shading. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I just think this is better than rushing the drying of the MDF. Okay, so that, your lighthouse, you know, you're away. Okay, so then let me do this wave. Okay, now for my wave, my favourite waves I've coloured are these ones. Okay, they've sort of got this blue green look. Now I'd love to tell you I remember exactly what I used, but I didn't because I'm not a super duper colorist, and what they do, you see, is they write notes on what they used, but I don't do that. So what I'm going to do, this is Ultramarine Deep. Okay, there you go, Marine Deep. It's a marine blue, we're fine. Okay, and I'm going to go round the bottom of our wave. Okay, maybe a little bit around here and a little bit around here. Okay, and then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this, which is forest green. Okay, and I'm just going to go around the blue. There you go. It looks like I am a completely incompetent colourist, which I am, especially if this doesn't work. Right, so we're going to take, oh, that's quite a lot of water, Bevlar. Right, and we're going to activate, just get it all wet first. And then you can start pulling it all together. And you've got this gorgeous sort of bluey base going into this sea green. And the beauty of this is your Ecolines reactivate, okay? So if you dry this off and you're like, I don't want it to be that green, or I want the blue to be more down the bottom or something like that, you can see I've added in white highlights here as well. Okay, what I would do is just leave it to dry or pat off some excess, okay, and then you can add in more colour and then re-wet it again and it will still blend with what you have. Alright, okay, clouds are even easier. I go to my greys set for this, and I'm going to pick one of the cooler greys. You tend to find your cool greys they have that sort of, your cool greys have the blue tone and your warm greys have the brown. Very similar to Pro Markers if you use Pro Markers. Okay, so now on here, so this is on my clouds. Alright, basically I'm going to use the side of my brush. This is actually paler than the one I used before. And basically where I've put that line, do I need to go a bit darker for you to see? So this one is just grey. This is neither warm grey or cool grey. It's just grey. So you just go around. Where I've put those lines. Okay. Right, but you can see the edge of that line. So what you can then do, I'm going to do these. Again, you can go along the bottom if you want. Just wiggle it in. Don't worry about it too much, honestly. This is the beauty of it. Because they're doodle art, it's not like it matters if they're slightly more, I don't know, naive in how they're coloured as well. What you can do is you can just run some water along that edge. And then your cloud is sort of faded in. There you go, you can just easy peasy. Really, really good. Okay. And I work exactly the same way when I'm colouring things like the boat. Okay. So I'll take, for example, the blue. I'll go along the top of the boat. And then work my way along it. But you see, all I did with a wet brush, just on an angle. That's the base of your boat, watercoloured. Okay, this is the Ecoline printer paper. Okay, now I do have the Ecoline gorgeous thing cardstock, but it's pricier, and I don't know where I've put it because I am a total womble. But there you go. No, so this is the Ecoline printer paper, which is quite cool. So yeah, I'm just gonna touch up a little bit of this wave here. Like I say, I did over wet it. Just a couple of little bits, but I like that because it does give the impression that it's like real life watercolour, which I know sounds daft. But yeah, what I was saying about it reactivating. Okay, so here, if you're thinking, no, I need that red line to be more red. This is dry now, so go back in with your red where you want a little bit more vivid, because I have to say, with my Ecolines, I forget how well they blend out. Okay, and that means I do have a slight tendency to wash them out completely. Okay, instead of leaving a little bit of a dark and light area. Again, not really bothered. So this is just the start of how I'll get it all ready. Now, I used to teach way back in the day, when ProMarkers came out. I used to teach 2 or 3 ProMarker classes a week, with blending and all this sort of thing. And in fairness, the only person that ever had a real struggle with the blending, things that we used to do for card making, was actually an illustrator for Disney, because it was very precise how she was trying to do it, and I think Ecolines are even more simple than that. So honestly, it really is a case of don't overthink it, just have fun with it. They really let them do all the heavy lifting. Honestly, the Ecolines will do all the heavy lifting for you. But that being said, if you want something that's really sort of, for example, so this is the Scarlet. If you want something that really is quite, they blend over themselves as well. So don't think, well, I want it all that colour. I don't want to watercolour it. I don't want, you know. So for example, the stripes on the boat's sail, you know, I actually want them all that scarlet colour. Well, yeah, you can, because they blend. Because they're so full of this gorgeous liquid ink colour. So you can colour in that way, and you don't get any stripes or lines or marks or anything like that. Okay. I was going to say, and that's before we even get to like brush lettering techniques, which obviously Sam is the queen of around here. Right. So rocks, rockety rocks. So what I will do here, and I have I do have there is some greys, I think, in my architect set. But I would have to check that for you, because I think my sets have got a little bit mixed up. So this is the deep grey. So again, exactly the same technique that I've done for lots of it. Okay, so I would go deep grey, darkest part of the rock. Sorry, my phone has just logged me out. Okay, guys, so I might miss some of your questions now, because I can only see like 2 at a time. So darkest part of the rock. But if you wanted to soften this and make it a more naturally sort of look, you could add in a little bit of one of the browns if you wanted to, and what have you. So that's pretty cool. So if I've got, so what's this? This is the sepia deep. So yeah, if you wanted to add like a little flash of brown into these, that's what I would do. And then, in the same way. Sam, I think we all do that though. Do you not find when you know you should be prepping and you should be doing something that's, you know, you've got work piling up, that's when you're like, oh, but I've got this new book, I should play in it. Or I've got these new pens and I haven't even got them out of the packet. And you're like, you know, you have so much to do in terms of prep or other things, but you're like, no, I'm going to do this now. Right. So, just by colouring those dark areas, and then giving it a little wash with the colours, you've got all those tones coming out on the rocks. Okay? So, when... And I think this is the cool thing as well with these doodle art sets. Look how cool them clouds look now. Now they're dry. That washed out. Absolutely beautiful. Right? And I think this is the cool thing with the doodle arts. You've got enough open space to have a play with your colouring, but it's not difficult if you want to keep it simple. So again, just go around there. 2 strokes with your water brush, and the door is done. Okay? And that's what's ace about them. Oh my goodness, I just dropped a lid for my Ecoline. This could be the end of the world as we know it. But it's fine, because I found it. Straight away. You always get ideas for your journal just as you're about to go to sleep. Absolutely. Keep a little book next to your bed. Quickly sketch it out and then you can sleep. That happens to me. Can you tell? Alright. So, I am going to continue colouring this. Okay. I'm going to probably do some more waves. Some more clouds. Like I say, I might do some clouds from the... What's it call it? From the regular size set as well, so that I can do a bit of a mix mashy on the canvas that we've started. But I will also get it gessoed. Honestly, guys, a little book next to your bed with a pen. It is the way forward. I'll do some orange bricks. I'm not sure about the orange bricks. No, I'm not sure about the orange bricks. I'm not going to do any more. I may water that out. So, righty ho, dudes. Right. So, just a quick recap before the nightcap, if you're into that sort of thing. Right? I always start wanting to craft just after wanting to sleep. So, okay, you can see all of this is really starting to stick down now. La la la, this is great. Excellent. A little bit of movement, I won't wiggle too hard. So, we have set up our canvas with our MDF Pop Outs, okay, and we have started getting these ready. I'm actually wondering if the regular size lighthouse might be better. I might have both ready. Shall we just have a quick look, actually, because I've got some. I still want some of the big waves and clouds, so I don't mind. Oobery doobery. Oh no, I think it's going to need a big one. That'll get lost on there, won't it? Yeah, I'll need a big one. So that's the little one against the big one, in case anyone was wondering. Yeah, so I will finish getting this coloured. I will gesso this, and then we will be ready to assemble it all and do some more painting and things on this next week. So thank you so much for joining me this evening, guys. Again, thank you so much for all the messages last week. Honestly, I am actually fine. I don't know what was wrong with me. Who knows? I wish I was like a party animal, or at least drunk, you know, too much, but I don't do that, so wasn't that either. So thank you so much for joining me this evening. I hope you have a really fantastic evening. Sam has put all the links on for the products we've been using tonight, and like I say, please check out the blog, because the design team have been doing some awesome work on there. And also tomorrow is the last day for the challenge in the Be Crafty Stamps group, our monthly challenge. Sally has been on there and she's got a fantastic album of lots of lovely things, and all you need to do is use some circles. Any circles, 1 circle, 100 circles, just in your project. So if you've made something using Be Crafty products this month that has a circle on it, please put it in the challenge album, because we would absolutely love to see. But also make sure you're sharing any of your Be Crafty makes in the group as well, because again, we love to see them. And if you do post them on Instagram, make sure you tag us and we will share it to our story. Alright guys, again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you soon. Oh, quickly, sorry, don't go. Sam is on Crafting Together with All Brands tomorrow at 2 PM. She is also going to be using some pop-outs, but using some very different techniques. On Thursday, I'm sure the lovely Jane has something rather marvellous planned. And then Sam will be back for Chit Chat Friday on Friday, bizarrely enough. Alright guys, see you later. Keep your eyes on the page. Bye.